Yeah, usually starts with just a conversation Q&A. Hey, we have interest. This almost everybody that first hears about this at the C-suite level are fascinated. They're interested. It makes sense. It's like, okay, this we gotta look closer at this. And so we just help navigate discovery with an organization initially, right? And that probably ticks off at the C-suite and the board level to endorse, we're going to build something, we're going to do this. All right. So that's kind of that phase one. It's like, okay, we've done all of our homework. Let's go forward. We still have a couple opportunities to kind of mothball a project. But what happens after that usually is an in-depth market study that we facilitate, so that we can validate that through the very specific lens of this program, that our clients are in a market that can sustain this program. All right. And so that's a niche product as well. And from that, we get, kind of the thumbs up or thumbs down that this market is perfect for this. Right. And that's kind of a go, no go opportunity as well. It's like, okay, the market's there. So, we should go forward. And from there, then we start really the build process, which early on incorporates, building out the construct of what the program will look like, what would be included in the contract. We have all the contracts written out, but there's some options that each provider can kind of pick and say, we're really deep in wellness. We'd like that to be bigger and more. We don't have much. We got a contract in for that. What about home care? All these things. So we build that, and then we can kind of price it, because this is an insurance model. And so once we have the program built, we got to send that off to actuaries so that they can actually build a pricing table that is sustainable and floats. And that'll get structured for 20 years, and gets redone every couple of years. But at first, it's like, this is what it costs today. And you can write a pro forma for the entire 20-year trajectory on that. At the same time, then we're working with the teams inside the company, coaching the model, getting clinical teams on board, getting wellness teams on board, working with finance and admin for policy. There's just a whole bunch of kind of plates to start spinning. And with about 6 months to go before we kind of what we call go to market, we start doing some pre-marketing, community pre-marketing work. In other words, no call to actions, just start floating out some themes out to the market from sponsored by this particular brand. And that could look like the importance of home, wellness, home safety, independence, nutrition, things that could be a little different than this aggregate housing brand historically, where it's like open house, come look at our flower gardens, we have activities going on our campus, come swim in our pool. This is very much different about maintaining your lifestyle through our brand endorsement. And it just kind of, we think of it as seed planning for 3, 4, 5 months before we're ready to go to market, launch an invitation to learn about a program that they've kind of subliminally been hearing all the themes about, but now we're going to have attach a call to action. We start marketing to the community. We have 3 people we have to hire. And so there's the HR component, an executive director, a salesperson, and the first real, care navigator. Get help with that selection, get those things on board, and then we're really ready to go to market and start having the first education sessions, inviting people there and getting people into the sales funnel. So that's really what it looks like. And of course, every organization can be different, but if we are very efficient and don't have very many barriers, we can usually from that first endorsement from the board and the C-suite, we can be to market in 9 months and definitely have a member within the 12-month time period have a first revenue coming in. Yeah, Becca, I think that's the biggest change for Jordan River over the past 2 years. I had launched 6 of these, and all of them had just been consulting build projects, right? And I love doing them, and I felt like I continued to refine the build process to make it more efficient, less expensive, faster, all that sort of thing. But the frustration was that, when you're done, you're done. And some companies even wanted to end things sooner than I wanted to, like, okay, we got this now. We got our marketing team. We got this. And oddly enough, what I found was almost every program could get to 50 really quickly, really easily. It's almost like the early adopters were there with insatiable appetites, like, oh, we've been waiting for something like this. And of course, your brand would be the one to do it, whatever market that was. But what we found was getting 50 to 150 or 100 to 200 seemed to be extraordinarily difficult. And so there was a sustainability issue out there. And sometimes I'd get called back, or I'd get called into some program I hadn't launched before saying, hey, we need help, we're really struggling. And so I started thinking about this is not what we're doing. I'm not interested in going out there and building 50 member programs anymore, because we had already done the homework to know that this is a market that had 12,000, 15,000 qualified prospects in their age, income, health, and express desirability to stay in their home. So those qualifications, we scrub all of that. 12, 15,000 people, and we have a membership of 62 after 2 or 3 years. That something's broken there. Like, we are not reaching, the capacity of the audience. And so that was really the thing. We said, we're more interested in building a long-term relationship and making it a value proposition for that other party, that client, as opposed to just a build relationship. And so that's where we decided, listen, we'll start front loading costs. We'll pay for the cost of this. We'll cut the fee in half of what it takes expense-wise to build this. And we'll tip over at a certain part. Once we get our first member, we'll tip over to a different type of relationship where from that moment on, there's no bills except that are performance-based. And we sign a 2-year contract for that relationship. And that's really been transformational. The CEOs expressed this they don't have a lot of relationships like that. It's like, we didn't have an invoice go out for 6 months while we were sorting things out. They were an existing program, so we adopted their current P&L, and it took us 6 months to kind of rectify, some of the challenges. And we were not getting paid because there was no net profit, and we were laying the groundwork to go back out to market. There were no new members coming. And, the CEO reflected and said, that's when you guys really earned your credibility, because your metrics were the same as my metrics and you weren't happy either. And so we had to continue to push to get there. And so that relationship, I think, answers the bell for us. We want programs that reach their potential, because our mission is to the older adult first and foremost. And certainly as a business, if I'm a CEO, I don't mind that relationship. I don't mind paying a bill if we hit the end zone, and I really don't want to pay a bill if we don't. And so that's how we've structured it, and that seems to be working well. We're liking that. We'll still build some if they're insistent, but we try to be quite persuasive that we want to be connected in a different way. Yeah, that's our goal, honestly, is that after 2 years, we go through launch and it's so early, they feel like they can't really afford to not have us on. We're just getting going, right? We've cut the bill down from $150,000 to $75,000 to build the whole thing for them, right? And by that point, we have one member. It's like, wow, please stay with us. We're just getting going. So it's not that tough a sell. After 2 years, we want to be quite compelling that there's absolutely no reason to go alone at this point. The value that we bring as a partnership after 2 years almost feels like that first member relationship. It's like, we're just getting going. Let's keep this going. And we produce so much value in 2 years. We have a couple proprietary tools that we bring into it. We have a couple partner relationships that only stream through us at a value. And so, there's a couple hooks built into it as well. But the real thing is, hey, we built a partnership. We're your behind the scenes partner to your brand, going out to public, trying to serve these older adults. And that value continues to evolve quarter after quarter.